what better place to kick off a brand new season of Nitro National Series racing for one-up competition in 2026 than here at the World Center of Racing for 50 laps to get a brand new year started. This is the start of something new with a lot of new faces moving on up. It's a bit of a changing of the guard here in the one-up Nitro National Series, but here at Daytona, we're ready to bring you the action to kick off the first of just 25 races to decide who's going to be our next series champion. And alongside me in the booth to bring you all the action for today's race, Duke Ansack back with us, the voice of the Nitro National Series. Great to have you with us. There's a lot of new faces, but there's a lot staying the same as well. And one thing that's certainly going to stay the same amount of great racing action we saw in 2025 will hold true this year, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. In the Nitro National Series, it is always a spectacular event. All season, we see these cars and these drivers put on a fantastic show. It's been year after year. It just gets better and better, and I agree. I don't think that this year will be any different. It's a fantastic place to start the season at a high-speed, high-banked, high-energy track like Daytona. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, because we've got a lot of new faces popping up throughout the entire field here. 42 drivers strong, 43 running the full season, but we've got 46 enter this race, 42 will race today. And with that being said, the starting lineup's going to look a lot different than it did this time last year. Got a lot of fresh faces making their way to the front of the field. The front row, in fact, for today's race made up of two rookies. DJ Curtis, after a strong run of success in the Turbo Truck Series the last few years, he makes the move up to Nitro competition and gets his first career pole while he's at it. And alongside him, Cody Lamas, who's never made a start in one-up competition before, he takes the outside front row. That is going to be a team to keep an eye on all season long. Behind them, you got the modified champion from last year, Ashton Blevins, coming back to Nitro competition with Revolution Racing, their first venture into the series as a whole. And alongside him, your defending Nitro National Series champion, Eric DeMax. We'll see what he can do to kick off his title defense.
Yeah, this is going to be just a stacked field. I mean, it's going to be hard to predict, the whole season based on the results or today's race, but I think that that's what makes it so special. Today is kind of the opener of the season, and it's kind of a standalone event. It's one where everybody's got a shot. It's going to be difficult to win because of that, and also it's not going to be an indicator. Everybody spent a couple months preparing for this specific race, not necessarily the whole season. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see who is able to move up through the field. Everybody in the starting lineup has a chance to win this thing. And man, it is just going to be exciting to watch throughout the whole event.
Absolutely. But with that being said, we've got 42 drivers ready to chase after the first victory of 2026. We are ready to bring you that action now. It is the one-up Nitro National Series season opener from the Daytona International Speedway, and we're set to bring you all the action as soon as it comes to you live in just a few seconds now. The fans are on their feet. It's the start of a new season in the one-up Nitro National Series, and two rookies, DJ Curtis and Cody Lamas, lead us to the green flag, which words are going to be coming at you in just a moment. The green flag now, out and in the air. We are racing at Daytona. The 2026 season is underway, and DJ Curtis gets a good launch off the line. He doesn't have a lot of help, though, from the 77 of Ashton Blevins. Looks like that outside line of Lamas and DeMax is starting to form up just a little bit better as the field heads off into turn 1.
Yeah, 22 is looking really good on the bottom, but the outside lane is becoming a bit disconnected, so we'll see that momentum on the bottom lane kind of start to push the 22 forward, and we'll see. Typically here at Daytona, what we see is drivers kind of move up on the straightaways to block that outside lane, and then as they enter the corners, people jump to the inside, just like that. Ashton Blevins now to the inside of our leader, trying to take the lead away in turn 3.
And Ashton Blevins, of course, a former modified champion. He hasn't raced at Daytona since 2024, but he's going to try and lead the first lap of this brand new season out of turn 4 into the trial will they come. It's going to be a drag race to the line, but DJ Curtis leads the first lap of 2026.
Great from Curtis right there to stay ahead, but I'm not sure it's going to be long lasted. And they go into the corner, and now they're 3 wide with Lamas on the inside.
Yeah, Cody Lama is a brilliant pickup for Fitzwater Australia Racing as they make their debut in the Nitro National Series today. Curtis shuffles back a little bit. Now it's Blevins and Lama side by side for the lead, with Eric DeMax pushing. And how about that car on the inside? Hayes Green in the 25 for Sanders Performance Autosport. He won the last time we were at a super speedway at Talladega. He's with a brand new race team that he thinks is his best shot yet at getting back to victory lane.
And here's our defending champion on the inside lane, possibly going to make a move to the front here, sitting in the 4th position right now. And it's good to see that 16 car out front, right where he left off at the end of last season.
So far, so good for Eric DeMax, who's looking to defend his championship in a big way, possibly making a case for himself to get up into the Superstar Series in a couple years. But for now, it is Lamas nosing out ahead of Ashton Blevins, the field 2x2, several rows deep, and the whole pack still together for the most part. We've got a lot of good cars further back in this field. Look at the 3rd row, David Richardson in that 10 car for Fair & Co Racing. This is his first race with his new team, and this is his best shot, I have a feeling, at getting to victory lane. He hasn't even had a top 10 finish in his career, but wouldn't it be something if he were to pull something big out here today?
Yeah, I'm curious right now in this race. Well, it just kind of broke up here in the 3rd lane a bit, but boy, the lanes that we have, the inside and the outside, they've been very strong. They've been very connected and organized so far in this one. I think a lot of the time we see a little bit more chaos like we have here with this 3-wide situation about 4 rows back from the leader. We see that a lot more throughout the field. So today, these drivers really keeping it calm and keeping it cool right there in the line. I think that maybe they're just riding for the beginning of this race. You don't want to mess up your car. You don't want to get shuffled out too early. But what's happening is it's allowing the 77, the 48, the 22 as well to kind of just stay up front and stay in their positions. They don't really have to go back and forth between the lanes and risk losing that position to anybody behind them. So you see Lamas still leading this race and Blevins on the outside still leading that outside lane.
And I wanted to make mention, we were looking at him just a moment ago, a few rows back in that red and white 18 car. That is Noah Hart. He has not raced in a one-up competition of any kind since 2023, but he got the call for Sanders Performance Autosport to drive their 3rd car. This number 18, he had to make his way into the field on time. He did that. He qualified exceptionally well in 9th position. Now he's riding his one-up comeback in the top 5.
Yeah, fantastic run so far, sitting there in a really, really good position early in this race. So it's going to be critical to just stay where you are, try to maintain that position, that track position that you have throughout the rest of this race to try to make something happen here. And there's the 18 still peeking down to the inside, trying to get some air on that nose, cool off that engine a little bit, riding in line for this long. These engines start to heat up a little bit with the air kind of being blocked from the cars in front, so you want to pop out a little bit every once in a while, get some fresh air on that nose, and then you're good to go.
And he's getting a little push from the new 98 car for Fenton Motorsport. AJ Zhao still driving for that team. He was driving the 12 last year. He's now moved over to the 98 with the same team. Mike Edwards takes over the 12 car, which was the 60 last year. A little shuffling going on at Fenton Motorsport. They keep their same driver lineup, and it's just Noah Hart now in between the 2 teammates as DeMax forges his way out front. He's going to try and lead for the first time today.
Yeah, you saw that 48. He kind of slid up to the top lane, and then DeMax went right down there, filled the hole, and took the momentum from the inside lane that has been leading this race for the whole time, and now the 16 is our next new leader in this one.
Yeah, Eric DeMax, he's got a lot to... even though he won the championship last year, I think he still wants to prove something here to these Nitro National drivers. That he can win not just on the road courses, but he can run well on any type of racetrack, and he's proving that so far today. He's leading right now. He's got the rookie sensation Cody Lamas to his outside, and a little further back, we've got Hayes Green up top. Stanley Andrews moving down to the Nitro National Series after a year in Superstar. He's getting a push from a rookie from the Truck Series, Justin Whitmer, in the 32.
Yeah, it's true, and this is still pretty organized here at Daytona with everybody. Not a lot of chaos going on. We haven't seen any close moments or anything. A lot of the time early in this race, it's the first race of the season. Everybody's really eager to get up front and really make something happen, and then we see some cars get a little too close to each other, causing a big accident. But So far, so good in this one. We'll have to knock on some wood, but it's been a good race so far, and it's just kind of a matter of which lane can get the pushes and who is able to stay on the bottom to kind of keep the momentum there. I think that most of the laps in this race have been led by the driver on the inside lane between the two at the front. So this will be interesting to see how it all plays out towards the end of this race.
And meanwhile, the two out front continue to be Eric DeMax and Cody Lamas. These two have a lot of respect for each other, but they're racing for the lead at Daytona. This is something I don't think many people saw coming when we pulled up here this weekend. But Eric DeMax has got a 3/100ths of a second advantage at the line last time by. I think these two have the best cars of the race at this point so far. I'm curious to see if any new challengers will come up to face them later on in this race. And look at the run Lamas gets off the turn, out of turn 2 on the outside. He's nosing ahead of the 16, but I expect DeMax will get that advantage back going into 3.
Yeah, that inside lane, part of the reason they've been leading for so long is that they have the shorter distance around the track. You know, everybody's kind of able to drive the same speed through the corner, but the distance around the corner is significantly less from the inside lane, and you can see even on the tri-oval that effect is happening, and it allows that inside lane to edge ahead at the line. And of course, you know, when we get closer to the end of this race and kind of final lap situation, all of that goes out the window. It's going to be a lot more pushing and shoving, beating and banging in the corners. And here we have third on the inside lane, a 3-wide situation. It looks like that 98 car has been knocked up out of the inside line.
Yeah, Stanley Andrews trying to forge his own line. He's got no help down there, not yet. But I think Angel Gutierrez in his sophomore season in the 72, he's going to try and give a helping hand to the 33 Mercedes from Stormbreak Motorsports for Stanley Andrews. This is a great run for this team. They really need something like this to happen after a bit of a rough end to their season last year. But at the line they go. Wow, I think Lamas just got DeMax at the line. No, DeMax just got Lamas at the line. 0.004 of a second separate the two leaders. It's anybody's game as we cross into lap 11.
Well, the help on the inside lane is completely dissolved. Zhao went to the middle lane a little bit. I don't know if it was by choice, and then eventually got a little bit of a push up there, dropped down all the way to the inside, and then ends up trying to make a pass here. But what has happened is it has hurt DeMax because DeMax doesn't have any help anymore, so it has made the 48 car of Lamas kind of the sole leader of this race, defending both of these lanes. And we have kind of a third lane trying to form on the straightaways here in the middle of everybody. We'll see how that plays out over the next couple of laps, but things change so fast here, just like we saw. One little moment from the 98 car has caused a ton of chaos, and it has made the 48 the sole leader of the race.
Yeah, and I don't think many people saw this coming. We knew Cody Lamas is a phenomenal race car driver, but to make your debut at a place like this and to be leading in your debut like this, it's very impressive for Cody Lamas. We'll see if he can hang on. There's still a lot of racing left to go. But here's Ashton Blevins now in the 77 trying to make a move on Eric DeMax for second. Looks like DeMax is going to nose him out with a push from Noah Hart on the inside line. He's getting pushed by AJ Zhao. And a few rows back, I see that white and blue car back there. Cameron Lassard, Ashton Blevins' teammate in the Revolution Racing 54. He started this race down in 21st position. He's almost ready to crack the top 10.
Yeah, and I really like what the 48 is doing. Well, as I say that, he's about to get passed by the 16, but I was going to say, I really like what he's doing. He was going down there and blocking that inside lane. I think that's where you're going to want to be. It's been a little bit stronger so far in this race than the outside lane, but now the 48 finds himself side by side with Eric DeMax once again in this race, and we'll see if that inside lane can stay connected enough to really make anything happen. We've got a bit of disconnection again with that 98 car and kind of 3 lanes going on here, and they're shifting back and forth from the top and the bottom depending on in the corner or out of the corner. It's a strange situation we have here, but there's Lamas leading another lap, but no longer clear for the lead.
And there is Lassard. We were talking about him just a moment ago, the second Revolution Racing car, and pushing him towards the front is Nathan Stapleton. That's Lamas' teammate at Fitzwater Australia Racing. The 97 had a really good making a really good comeback after a rough season last year. He started this race down in 23rd, but he's already made a push. He's almost at the top 10 to join his teammate who's leading this race. I think the FAR cars are going to be sneaky good this season if this is their opening pace.
Yeah, so far so good, and I really like what's happening here with the ability to kind of have 3 lanes. This is the chaos I was expecting a little bit earlier in this race that we've seen. If you watch this pack, they're not just in 2 straight lines right now anymore. It's kind of a little bit chaotic in the middle and all around, and that has allowed people to really make some moves and move a little bit farther towards the front. So we've seen a couple of new faces near the front of the pack, and we're seeing some people make some moves and gain some time here as well. So we'll see how this plays out over the next 5 or so laps of a little bit of chaos going on here. But yeah, look how disorganized all of them are down the back straightaway. It's just allowing everybody to move around and make some passes.
And Lamas is cleared for the lead again on Eric DeMax. That's another thing I noticed while you were talking there. So Lamas is back ahead of the 16 for the lead. As we make our way to our far shot here, I noticed a few other cars sneaking their way into the picture. David Meskey, that green car on the inside, he finished second in this race last year. He's a really good plate racer, and I'm not surprised one bit to see him up at the front. And following him towards the front, the 66 of Paul Villalobos, a super strong truck driver last season. He's moving up to make his full-time Nitro National debut today in the 66 for Robbers Racing. That's going to be, I think, the battle for Rookie of the Year this year between Curtis and Villalobos. These two are powerhouses, or they were powerhouses in the trucks. I would expect nothing different this year.
Yeah, definitely. And this is, there goes a move for the lead all by himself. It's the 16, maybe with a little bit of help from the 77 now, trying to go by that 48. Oh, and the 77 jumps up the track to help Lamas. So that's going to leave the 16 out to dry. He won't be able to lead that lap. And here is the 57 who is about to lose the draft at the end of the field.
Yeah, that's not good for Yadis Terzic in that 57. Remember back to his dual race for the Superstar Series last week. He lost the lead pack quite early on and never really recovered. Could we see are we seeing a similar story here in his full-time ride? That's dangerous territory for that 57. If he loses this pack, which in all likelihood he might, he's going to need a caution to get caught back up.
Yeah, he certainly will. And so far, I mean, we've started to see the level of aggression go up a bit in the last couple of laps here, but it's still not extremely high in this race. And yeah, I don't think that Terzic is really going to stay with this pack. I think he's losing way too much time right now to be able to stay with them. So you're right, he's going to need a caution if he wants to get back in this race. And that's going to be just luck of the draw, whether or not he gets one or not. It feels like, we're at Daytona. It feels like he probably could get one, but so far, I don't know. I mean, we're looking really good, and we'll see what happens throughout the rest of this thing.
And I'm taking some notice of a few cars in this top 10 now. Behind Villalobos in the 66, Devin Fair in the 20, making a part-time appearance for JHM Racing in their 20 car. He's making a move towards the top 10, being pushed by one of yours, Tris Lattimore, in the 3, making a return to the Nitro National Series after a few years in the Superstar car. He started this race down in 22nd spot. He's about to crack the top 10.
Yeah, he is. He was drafting with Ironhouse, who's only 2 cars behind him now. But while all that chaos was happening, they had kind of stuck to the bottom lane, and they were pushing each other a little bit as teammates, and that allowed them to get a little bit farther up the pack. But now we're kind of back to where we were when we started this race, 2 by 2, almost like pace laps.
DeMax was so close to clearing Lamas there, just didn't pull up in time.
He wanted to pull up, I could tell, and he just wasn't clear. It's good that he didn't, because he would have been headed straight for the wall had he done that. But yeah, we're back to this little bit of organization here. Everybody's kind of taking a breather from where it was, but the order has shifted around in the middle of the pack. Meanwhile, up front, though, it's still the 48 and the 16 kind of have a stranglehold on this race ever since they got to this position. They've both been leading either lane and without anybody really being able to challenge them.
And the thing is, these cars are going slow enough around this track, and they're running around high 48s, low 49s. They're gonna be able to make the entire race distance without a pit stop. So these this is a straight fight to the checkered, even without any fuel saving. So this very well could come down to Llamas versus DeMax for this race win, unless we get a new challenger in the late stages, and I see Stapleton's fought his way to the front, Mesky, Villalobos, they're all up there, Devin Fair's right behind, so don't count these guys out just because they're not in the lead 2 rows. If something happens in the late stages of this race, they could very well be in the mix.
Yeah, and Ashton Blevins is still up there. Additionally, the 22 car remains of DJ Curtis remains right there as well in the outside lane. So all of these drivers that kind of qualified pretty well have stayed up front today, and they're all really fast cars. So we'll see how this thing plays out. We still got over half of this race to go, so it's going to be interesting to see what everybody decides to do here towards the end of this. But there's a move to the inside a little bit farther back in this path. We'll see if it plays out. Doesn't look like it will this time. But yeah, everybody getting antsy at this point. I think that we're waiting for something to happen and trying to make sure you're not part of it.
And it's interesting, this race. It's playing out quite differently than we've seen previous Nitro National races at Daytona go. There's not as much shuffling in the field as we normally see. A lot of the guys that started up front have stayed up front, like you said. We've seen a couple guys make their way to the front, namely Stapleton, Mesky, Villalobos, etc. But for the most part, a lot of the guys that are qualified up at the front, like Hart, like Curtis, like Blevins and Llamas, DeMax, they're all staying up here. That's not giving a lot of opportunity to those guys who've qualified poorly to make their way to the front. So they're going to need to get a third lane going here before too long if they're going to make any headway in this race.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that typically what we see here at Daytona is the leader will take the lead on the inside lane, then they'll slide up the track a little bit and kind of block that outside lane. In the meantime, the inside lane is able to get a good run through the corner because it's a shorter distance around, and then they can get side by side and make that pass on the straightaway. But this time, like you said, they're not really leaving that bottom lane. They don't have to, so or also they can't. So they're kind of just staying right where they are towards the front, and it has caused this big organized group to kind of ride around the track pace lap style, if you will. You could convince me this was a sped up pace lap here at Daytona, and it's been fascinating to watch to see everybody try to learn how to make moves and how to move up through the field. We saw a little bit of it earlier today. We'll see if we can get to that point again.
And the thing about it is, I'm sure Nathan Stapleton in that 97 car, he doesn't want to be pushing DeMax right now because he sees his teammate up in that outside line. We go 3 wide back here with Chris Lattimore, Devin Fair, Angel Gutierrez. But back to the Stapleton conversation, he doesn't want to be pushing the 16. He'd rather be up in that top lane pushing his teammate, but he just can't go anywhere because Blevins is stuck to the back of the 48. So he can't really do anything else but push that 16. What he might want to do is try and push the 16 clear of the 48, then come up in front of Llamas so that the teammates can try and work together that way, but it just doesn't look like it's going that way so far.
Yeah, well, in this lap alone, I have seen Chris Lattimore pass the 20 car on the inside and now the 66. So I think that he has decided at this point that he is ready to go. He wants to get a little bit of clean air on the front of that vehicle, and he has made 2 passes in this lap. He just jumps low, and then kind of everybody follows him through, and he passed the 20, and the 20 was able to fall in line, and then the 66 was able to jump to the outside line, oddly. So both of those cars have made it okay after this. Here's a side-by-side battle with the 72 and the 18. But yeah, that 3 car going towards the front.
Yeah, and that 72's in a bit of no man's land right now. He wanted to get in behind his teammate Villalobos, but there's no room. I think Lassard's going to try and give him a break here, let him slip up into that outside line, and sure enough, he will. A lot of restraint being shown by these guys. Lassard didn't need to do that, but he knows we're only halfway in this race, and there's a lot of time left to make your move, and I don't think he wanted to risk tearing up his race car at only lap 25.
Yeah, definitely. And this is it's good to not tear up your race car right now. We're just crossing halfway in this race, and it's been interesting so far and fascinating, and I think that the word is getting through that it's possible to do what the 3 car did on the inside lane, because there's David Mesky, who just jumped to the low side of the 97, and he is probably going to get the run to be able to make that pass, except the 3 car goes up to the middle and everybody's following the 3 car right now, but I think that in the corner, that's going to change. Yep, they jump down to the inside, the faster way around the track, and now the 97 and the 3 in the middle, they've moved everybody around, and now we've got a bit of chaos going on in the pack.
And I do want to make mention of Elijah Ironhouse in that 8 car. He started this race down in 40th position. We know he's mega strong on the super speedways. Bit of a qualifying mishap for the 8 team, but they've fought their way up. He started this race in 40th. He's now passing Phil Lobos to crack into the top 10 for the first time.
And he's got a shot here while everybody's a little bit discombobulated to make even more progress towards the front in the 3 car. Just to finalize that story, ended up on the outside lane after all of that chaos. Now in the 3rd spot in the outside lane. That is probably where he'll stay for a little bit, but he's the first person to separate the 77 and the 22 since early in this race, in the opening laps at least. So this is interesting to see how it's all playing out, but you're right about the 8 car started really far back. The 3 car started back in 22nd, and Villalobos in the 66 started in 24th. So additionally, Stapleton started in 23rd. So
and Devin Fair started down in 26th. So we've got a lot of guys making their way up through the field here. Mike Edwards in that red and white 12 car, he started down in 27th. We've got a 3-wide situation now for the race lead. Meskey's decided it's time to go, and he has pushed Max into the middle groove. I just don't think he has the raw speed to lead a line at this point because, look, this 16 has gotten back past him, and now the 97's alongside again.
Yeah, boy, he almost had him, though. If he had gone up and side drafted just a little bit more, I think that he would have been able to get closer to the 16, at least farther alongside him. He's got the help of the whole inside lane behind him, and I think that Meskey could have a chance here in the next couple of laps if this continues with these 3 lanes kind of up front. But it's weird because there's only 1 car on the outside, the far outside lane at least. It's the 77, but because the whole lane kind of keeps switching between the middle and the outside, it's keeping both of those cars afloat, and it's really messing up the leaders, especially the 48 of Lamas, who is just kind of stuck there without any help because of the 2 cars behind him side by side.
And despite that, Lamas is still up at the front. He led that last lap. He's pulling alongside DeMax, trying to nose him out in the turn 3. We've got... This 48 is really strong, but I just have a feeling that he actually might have the help now, because Stapleton's doing everything he can to try and jump ahead of the 77 into that outside line to try and help his teammate along, but we're next time by will be 20 laps to go. Time is running out here.
Yeah, it certainly is, and this is a fascinating moment where, I mean, if you're looking at the 3 car going back and forth between the top and the middle,
this is a good opportunity here for DeMax to clear Lamas. I think he might be trying it. There he goes. He's going up the track to try and cover off the 48 because he knows the 48 is his biggest challenger today. And if he can keep Lamas behind him and force him to work with him, then that'll help be in the 16's best interest. However, Meskey's making a run at it on the inside with a push from Devin Fair, and he's got to cover that off as well.
Yeah, and it's kind of this weird, like, 3rd lane situation. I mean, the middle lane has been gaining some more permanent members. Right now, Villalobos is down there as a permanent member of that middle lane. But it changes up like twice or 3 times in the whole straightaway that they run. It's just like back and forth. Don't know where to go on the top and the outside, and that is why Lamas has just had absolutely no real push from these guys on the outside and the middle.
Look how close Stapleton is to trying and clear the 77, but he just can't do it, and that's going to hurt him in this race.
Boy, he would love to make that pass there, but at the same time, he's still running really well there in the middle lane. I mean, it might not be that bad of a thing to kind of stick around right there. You don't want to be in the outside right now. It looks like
he wants to help his teammate, at least.
Yeah, that's true, and the 16 has been doing a good job of blocking both lanes. Meskey has been doing a good job. Now he's up to the side of the 48, and they are side by side. They're kind of blocking each other out of that lead. So this is a fascinating moment in this race. It's a little bit more chaotic than we've seen, but who is going to make it to the front? Who is going to show that they are the strongest car? Right now, the 16 has done just that.
And quick mention to Andrew Langley in that 21 car. He is a guy we haven't seen at the front of the field yet today. He started this race in 13th. He's going to try and make the top 10 here. But that 21 was on a huge run of momentum at the end of last year. 2 wins to start the chase. He had a really good end of the season, and I would expect him to have a really strong year this year as well with that JHM. He's the only JHM driver full-time this year.
Wow, and that is a stellar run right now, getting up towards the front. The 21 car, he's right behind Ironhouse on the inside lane in that Minute Maid Lemonade car, and he is doing a great job right now to just kind of stick there on the inside lane and move forward. And now we've got a bit more of a traditional look that we've seen in past years here at Daytona, a little bit more chaotic. 3 lanes side by side down the straightaway, and they're all distinct now. It is 3 full lanes, and then we have 3-car breakaway for the lead right now with the 16, the 29, and the 12, and they are 1, 2, 3 lined up with each other. And who is going to make the move? Who's going to have the strongest of those 3 to possibly make a move? And also that lap car of just kind of falling back, and now has lost enough time that the pack is going to end up passing him, and that's going to be chaos with the 3 wide situation we have right now. I'm a little bit nervous about that.
Yeah, well, you're not the only one. I'm sure all of these drivers are a bit nervous of seeing that 57 looming in the distance of Terzic about to go a lap down. And I see that further back in the pack, looks like the 7 car of Kanalka is about to lose the lead pack as well. I think they're going to be okay because there's so few laps left in this race, they probably won't lose a lap. We only have 17 coming to 16 laps to go. But Lamas is actually starting to fade a little bit on that outside line. Curtis has gotten ahead of him now. He finally has his teammate to work with, but now he's stuck back there. He's got the 66 ahead of him, the 22's ahead of him. He's falling pretty quickly through this field.
Yeah, well, what I'm noticing is that outside lane is pretty fractured. In all of this chaos that we've had, the outside lane, there isn't a lot of help up there. You can see all of our typical contenders that were in the outside lane falling with the 48, but that's not the big concern right now. I think that everybody's trying to get too wide at this moment because the 57 is right there ahead. I think that they're going to pass him possibly on the front straightaway this time, or maybe into turn 1. We'll see what happens, but yeah, 2 wide is what you're going to need for this. If you're 3 wide, you're going to be really squeezing towards the top. They're going to pass him even before. They're going to be right at him at the start-finish line here. This is going to be chaos.
Where does the Max go to make this move? He swoops low, he swoops high, trying to find a way past Terzic, and he will make the pass on the outside line. So he's dispatched to the 57. Now Devin Fair gets past the 57. Looks like Edwards is going to go past on the outside, Ironhouse down low. But I have a feeling that this 57, once he gets assimilated into this pack a little bit more, he might be able to get back up to speed. I think his issue was that he was at the back and just couldn't hang on. But now that he's up at the front of the pack, maybe he'll be able to race a little bit.
Well, that went significantly better than I was anticipating it would. I thought that everybody would try to get around him, but he did a great thing right there, and he went to the middle lane and just forced everybody to pick him up. And of course, it's caused the outside lane a bit of trouble. But yeah, that car is not damaged. There's nothing wrong with it as far as we know, other than the fact that he was qualified in the back of the field and then ended up losing the draft because of it. But that car should be okay in the draft here in the pack, and there he is, just leading or he's up in that outside lane. But yeah, he's got that run now ahead of Meski. So a lap down, of course, is Terzic, but in this pack nonetheless. So that's how it goes. And here is a new contender in the top 2. It's Elijah Ironhouse sitting in the 2nd position with help from the 21 car. They went from the bottom lane all the way up to the top and all the way towards the front.
And we've got some more new contenders. We've got Riley Hooper in the 69 moving his way up into the 3rd. Ryan Arnold right behind him. He won Daytona last time we were here in the fall of last year. He's up into the top 10 now. And look further back, Tegan Fox in that 44 car. We haven't talked about the 44 a single time today. They started down in 25th place, but that 44 has had some incredible success at Talladega in the past, and that's translating well. 44 cracked the top 10 right there.
Yeah, I agree. every time that the pack gets a little bit discombobulated, more people end up towards the front that weren't there before. And I see a long line of people that we haven't really talked about today lined up on the inside lane. And here is the 69 towards the inside of the 8. Not going to be enough that time. The 10 is making a move to the bottom of the 01 right now. And this is a bit of a 5-car breakaway that we have ahead of the 3 wide pack just behind them. But meanwhile, through all of the chaos, through all of the discombobulation, through all of the comers and goers towards the front, towards the back, the 16 of Eric DeMax has stayed our leader, and nobody has really been able to challenge him since he took the lead away from the 48 car earlier. So this is a really, really strong showing from DeMax in the 16.
We've got 3 Chevrolets at the front of the field from 3 different teams, but they're all trying to work together as much as they can for the late stages of this race. And we got some more new faces in the front of the field. Nick Breeding in the 99, Justin Henley for Vice Valley Motorsports in the 43, and how about Jesse Johns in this Express Motorsports number 13 for the former modified driver. He is going to be a huge underdog story this season, with Express Motorsports jumping into the deep end with his run at the Nitro National Series. He started this race down in 32nd, but he's made his way up to the front. He's hung on to the lead pack all day. He can be in position for a really good finish as we come to 10 to go.
Yeah, definitely he could. And this is, boy, it is so strange. With only about 10 laps to go here, a little bit less. This is kind of starting to fall into where we'll start to see the drivers up front who are going to be up front for the end. And it's Hooper, it's Ironhouse, it's DeMax, it is the 44, the 99, the 98, the 10, the 43. I mean, these guys are all going to be fighting for the win now in this race over the next 10 laps or so. And it's interesting to see which of them are going to end up on top, which of them are going to be able to challenge this 16 car of Eric DeMax, who has been leading for so long in this race. I mean, what happens to the 16 when somebody gets ahead and he falls into traffic? We saw the 48.
Ooh, hate to interrupt. I'm seeing a little separation from this pack, and it looks as though the 31 is the cause of this. Jacob Buchholz, who's slowing dramatically off the pace in the Amtrak Mercedes for Stormbreak Motorsports. And look who's the worst respondent to that, Cody Lamas. Quite a fall from grace. We're hearing on the 31 of Buchholz, it's a fuel system issue. They're not the fuel pickup's not responding as well as he would like, so he is falling well off the pace in that 31, and that's strung the pack out quite a lot towards the back. You can see it right there.
Yeah, and I was just about to talk about the 48. I mean, as soon as he got kind of with some cars ahead of him, that car did not really respond well to being in traffic. And of course, I don't think that this is a result of that. Obviously, the 31 had an issue right in front of him, but that 48 was not as dominant as it was out front when he was in the pack.
And that's such a shame for Cody Lamas. He was doing such a good job in his series debut. He'll have to look forward to Rockingham for another opportunity to show his stuff. But meanwhile, the front of the pack still got a lot of cars in it, and it continues to be Eric DeMax in the lead of this race. I'm curious to see if he can hang on for another 8 laps at this point, because he's got a very hungry pack. We've got 4 Chevrolets at the front of this field from 3 different teams. His teammate AJ Zhou's trying to fight his way to the front, see if he can lend his teammate a helping hand.
Yeah, and this 69 car has so far been the breadwinner of the 3 that were behind the 16. Kind of stuck there in his wake, and then the 69 has been the one that is able to remain right there. So this will be fascinating to see if he's able to do anything with our leader. But as they're so far ahead, I mean, they can't really... There's not really anything they can do. I mean, it's like they're just stuck up there. And here's the 31 going very, very slow around the track.
They're considering calling him to the pit lane. He's 5 seconds a lap slower than everybody else in that pack. That's not just off the pace. That's a fuel system issue on that 31. Tough break for Buchholz. He was was trying to have a decent day. Won't happen for him this time around. But we now have 7 laps of racing to go. AJ Zhou tries to look underneath the 69 of Hooper, as it looks like we got one more in trouble. It's David Richardson in the 10. Looks like he's got a tire going down out of turn 2. He has slowed dramatically. That's split the pack up even more.
Oh, look out, everybody. Wow.
We got about 7 cars diving below the double yellow just to get around him.
They're going through the grass.
That is legal, though, because they were trying to avoid an accident, so that is legal what they just did. They've all blended back up fairly okay, but Richardson, he was having a good day, no longer the case, and he might draw a yellow flag from that.
Oh boy, this will be fascinating. Everybody trying to jump.
There is a yellow flag after that.
So boy, with only 5 to go.
So the caution flies for the first time, and only about 5 cars had passed the start-finish line when that yellow came out. So these 5 are going to race their way to the yellow flag while everybody else slows down because they took it first.
Okay, so this is interesting. So this is a critical battle because this race, there's a chance that we don't go back green after this, right? So this could be a race for the win here. Coming to the line.
I think DeMax has too strong a car for them to try and... They're so disconnected right now. I think DeMax is going to hang on to the lead. I think we're going to probably have a green-white checker situation at this point because it shouldn't take long for them to clear the debris off the track from David Richardson's incident. So we'll see. I mean, this is a very interesting... Look at Jesse Johns. He's fought his way up to the 6th position in that 13. Justin Henley up to 5th.
Well, and there it is. DeMax has remained your leader. So if that was, in fact, a race for the win, DeMax has gotten it done with the speed of that car. But I think you're probably right that it'll be a bit of a green-white checker situation here for the end of this one. And that could cause some major chaos in this one. And they'll start single file. So it'll take them about a half a lap to really get grouped up together like they were. But it's going to be chaos to get to that point. And yeah, we've got a lot of fast cars up front. We got a lot of fast cars kind of lined up behind them. I mean, it's anybody's game at this point. Most of the cars remain in this race. You know, we haven't had a big accident, so it's just been the 10 car.
This saves Jacob Pujols as well from going a lap down in this race.
Absolutely does.
But David Richardson, he was having a really strong day in his debut for Ferinca Racing, but it's going to end in disappointment. Even if he does get back out on the track to finish these last few laps, he will not win this race, nowhere close to it. But even if he didn't have that issue, I don't think he was going to stop Eric DeMax, because this 16 car has been lightning fast this entire day.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's going to be everybody versus him, at least for a couple laps here. We'll see how long he's able to hold them off, and there's certainly a chance that he could hold them off for the entirety of the time. I mean, that car has just been dominant so far. But, yeah, with the 8 of Ironhouse right there, and the 98 who's been up front all day, the 69 who's shown a lot of speed as well. I mean, if they could all line up with each other and make the right move, they could certainly work together to get past the 16.
Yeah, but they're going to need to give the 16 a lot of space out front to do that, because they want, as Richardson does come back out on the track, he'll be 2 laps down by the time they cycle back around. They're just a tough break for that 10 car. But what I was saying, what they need to do, they're going to need to do on the restart, if we get a restart here, what they're going to need to do is they're going to need to drag the brakes, pick each other up, let DeMax get a huge lead, and then charge after him down the back straightaway. That's going to be their only shot, is to work together. And I don't think... I think they're going to have an uncooperative partner in that, because AJ Zal wants a Vanta Motorsport win one way or another.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to watch. I mean, I think that critically, if you're watching this race and your favorite driver is up near the front, what you want to be watching for is for that driver to get to the bottom lane, I think, at all costs. And because the way that it's going to work out is everybody's going to try to jump to the bottom, and then the bottom is going to be really fast for that first about lap and a half. They're going to have the shortest distance around. Everybody's going to be 100% throttle all the way through until they're up to speed. And you want to be on that bottom lane, because that's where you're going to get up to that top speed faster all the way around the track. You're going to make several passes before everybody's up to that top speed as well. Now, for winning the race, you're going to have to, like you said, back off a little bit, let the 16 get out front, and then use that momentum, use that draft, and then you're going to have to make a really, really good move on the 16, something that is just unblockable. There's the lights off in the pace car. We will be going green this time. and DeMax leads the way. Ironhouse right behind. Boy, this is going to be an exciting finish to this race.
Oh, we got one blowing up on the lap to the restart, and it's Jared Shank in the 85. That's a heartbreaker for that one racing team. And Jared Shank, who finished top 10 at Daytona both races last year, he's going to be our first official retirement from this race. That is deeply heartbreaking for that team. They were hoping for another strong run at Daytona like they've always had. They never really had the speed they had last year in this race, but now it's really come to a head.
Yeah, and this is critical. It looks like we're still going to go green this lap, but
and I see a lot of smoke, but I don't see a lot of fluid coming out of that car. That might be why we're going to still go back racing.
Well, and everybody is getting on the radio right now and saying, be careful on that bottom lane because it could be completely saturated. We just don't know right now. They are going to send them green right here. I think that's the right decision. But yeah, that could be quite the situation that we have on the inside lane, hoping for the best there.
And it looks like Shank's going to pull it to the aprons to get off the racing surface. That's good. That's good news. I worry though he's going quite slowly, and the field's coming up to the restart now. I don't know if he'll make it back.
Oh yeah, let's just cross our fingers here.
That could bring out a caution immediately as well.
Yeah, it'll throw a wrench in our whole big exciting finish here. But there goes the pace car, so they're going to go green this time for sure. The 85 is still slow on the track, but here they go. The green flag is in the air. Only a couple laps left in this thing. What's going to happen?
2 laps to go from Daytona. Looks as though Jared Shank is either stopped on the track or is going extremely slowly. There he is. He's stopped in the middle of 3 and 4.
No.
He might get a lift back to the pits, and he has. We're staying green for the most part. Looks like it. I see the caution lights have not come on. We're staying green through all this. Eric DeMax has got a big lead out of 2, but is that a bad thing for him?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if the 8 car, with the help of the 69, is able to make any sort of move on him.
And the 13's up to 4th.
Yeah, that's great. And we've seen nobody has spun or anything on the inside lane, so I guess you were right. There's no fuel, no oil on the track or anything. And there goes the 69 to the inside of the 8.
We're coming to the white flag this time. Any of these cars think they have a shot to win this race, they're going to have to go through Eric DeMax to make it happen. He's dominated this race. He's going to lead his 36th lap of the day to take the white flag. 1 more lap to go from Daytona.
Boy, and the 8 car has been left out to dry on the outside lane, and the 69 has gone up. What can the 13 do on the inside of the track now? But the 16 has just been able to be perfect right here. He's been able to block every single run. He hasn't really been challenged
This
yet.
could be a huge upset in the making, though, for Jesse Johns, but he moves up the track, too, to try and get a run on DeMax, catch his draft, but that could be a bad thing for him, because now Curtis is pulled to his inside, so this could be all Eric DeMax needs, is for these two to race side by side. 3 and 4 for the final time. Curtis has dispatched Jesse Johns. He's pulling alongside DeMax. Could this be the run he needs? Out of 4 for the final time. It'll be a drag race to the start-finish line, but it looks as though in his first career start, DJ Curtis is going to wheel it to victory lane at Daytona.
Oh my goodness, out of nowhere on the last lap, DJ Curtis, our pole sitter, was able to make a run at the 16 with a huge push from the 43 car. A fantastic ending to this race, but not for Eric DeMax. It was stolen right out from underneath him there from DJ Curtis. That is just an incredible last lap pass. Wow, I didn't think anybody could do it at that point because the 13 went to the top and then they were all so far back, and then the 22, like a rocket ship, just went right on by the 16.
There's so much to talk about after this race. DJ Curtis only led 2 laps this afternoon. He led the first and he led the last. And on top of that, Eric DeMax led more laps in this race by himself than he did all of last season combined in his championship season. He led 36 laps today. We'll have a second place finish to show for it. I know it's heartbreaking for him, but he made a statement today that he can run up front no matter where we go in this series.
Boy, what the heck? I mean, that was incredible at the end of that race. I didn't think anybody could do it. So the 8 went to the top, right? And then I was like, all right, so the 8's not going to do it, but could the 69 do it? Well, the 69 did the same thing, went right up to the top behind the 16, and then I was thinking, well, the 13's now got a shot. 13 goes to the top as
It's
well.
almost
And
like
then
we
you're
see
like,
in years past at Daytona,
yep,
where everyone
yep.
goes up there.
Yeah, and then out of nowhere, the fastest car going into the day, the 22 car, the pole sitter, drives right on by him. I mean, a huge push from the 43, a great finish for the 22 car of DJ Curtis. We got to give props to the 16 team for how fast that they were today, but the 22 had a great run at the end and absolutely blew them away on the inside lane. A great race from start to finish.
And want to make mention as well, career best finishes for Justin Henley and for Jesse Johns, 3rd and 4th. They're going to have a lot of momentum as we head to Rockingham in a few weeks' time. But with that being said, from Duke Anzac and from myself as well, thanks for joining us for a great season opener at Daytona. Eric DeMax is surely going to be disappointed with this, but he proved today that he's not just a one-trick pony. He can lead so many laps of a race at Daytona. He's got a good chance at winning every given week. But we'll find out if that holds true at Rockingham in 2 weeks' time. We're looking forward to that as much as you are. But until we see you out in North Carolina, so long from Daytona Beach. Congratulations to DJ Curtis, who, in his first try in the Nitro National Series, is a winner in 1UP's second-tier division.